Hey friends, Peggy Hall back with you from thehealthyamerican.org, streaming live. And you've asked me for more coverage on the Charlie Kirk incident, as I'm calling it. So in this video, we're going to be looking,
Hey friends,
whoops,
Peggy Hall back with
we're going to be looking at a video of Turning Point and the individuals that are taking over Charlie Kirk's place there in this podcast. And it's really interesting because there was a video that went viral about the chief of staff for Charlie Kirk. His name is Mikey McCoy. I brought you videos on this channel previously. Remember, I have an entire Charlie Kirk playlist. So if you've missed anything, please go back. I've got dozens of videos from day one where I was breaking down the anomalies and the oddities, and I took a lot of pushback for that. Except in the last few weeks, people have been emailing me saying, Peggy, you were on it. Now I see what you're talking about. I was too emotionally involved to actually be able to see and understand what you were showing, but now it's making sense to me in that what we're shown doesn't really make sense in terms of the mainstream media. So here's the setup. Mikey McCoy, who is the son of Rob McCoy, Rob McCoy refers to himself as America's pastor. And he said that Charlie said he was Charlie's pastor. I did a couple of videos on Rob McCoy and some of the very curious things about him and about his connections and about what he said, such as Charlie sacrificed his life for you. And from the thin veil of heaven, Charlie declared to the principalities on earth. I mean, that is so unbiblical. He also said that Charlie was an angel in heaven. Now, you probably saw or heard of that show, Charlie's Angels. But when it comes to biblical truths, if you're a Christian or you read the Bible, then you know that God created human beings and angels separately. So you don't become an angel. I know we use that kind of colloquially to say, oh, I have, my angel kitty is in heaven or something like that. I understand that. But I don't think that's how Rob McCoy was speaking. It was very strange. He also said that Charlie Kirk liked to create order out of chaos. And that's one of the taglines of the Freemasons. So I think there's a lot of Freemasonry going on there. I have done several videos about that. I've got a Freemasonry playlist as well. The reason I'm telling you all of this background is because Mikey McCoy is Rob McCoy's son, and Rob McCoy created something called Turning Point Faith with Charlie Kirk. And he has been drumming up donations for that in the aftermath of this incident. And Mikey McCoy became the chief of staff for Charlie Kirk at a very young age. The story is that Charlie told him, don't go to college, just come to work for me. So I showed you the utter lack of devastation and grief on the face of this young man with his first TV appearance on Fox News. He couldn't keep the giant smile plastered off of his face. So that's Mikey McCoy. The reason he's in the news now is because there's a video. I'm going to show you just not really the video, but I'm going to show you just a screen grab, and you can take a look at that if you like, and I'll just give you the foundation here. So we've got this video that's been making the rounds, and here's Mikey McCoy wearing the white t-shirt and a black backpack. And Mikey did a lot of videotaping in the of that day of the event. And he was in the car, and he also has an Instagram page, so you can see all those videos and everything there as well. Here's the issue, that in the aftermath of the bang bang, and of course, I guess I need to remind everyone if they are new to the channel or haven't seen any of my videos, no bullet was ever recovered that we have seen with evidence. There was no blood splatter all over the white Turning Point USA screen or tent behind where Charlie was sitting. There was no blood trail as Charlie was summarily carted off to the car. And I also pointed out that the reaction of his security team was very strange, because normally in any kind of event, it takes a moment for it to register. So if something happens, the first thing is most people freeze, like, what was that? It takes a moment for it to sink in. I mean, think about things like that happen to you. You're just kind of, frozen for a moment, and you're like, what was that? You're looking around to see other people's reactions. And especially in the case of those who are trained as first responders or as bodyguards, in the case with Charlie Kirk, the rational, logical response would have been to duck and to have them draw their weapons to protect Charlie's life. And that's not what happened at all. It was like a well-rehearsed choreography where they immediately all jumped down and carted Charlie off. That's not how first aid happens. You check for a pulse, you check for breathing. If there's a wound, you put your hand there to stop the flow of blood. There's a little bit of mayhem going around. People are who's calling 911? So there's a lot of that happening in an authentic emergency. But we didn't see that at all. And that's what this person is pointing out in this video, that Mikey, many of you said, oh, reminds me of that TV commercial. Ask Mikey. Mikey, he likes it. I think it's something like that. It was back in the 80s, I think. So Mikey will eat anything. It's just funny. That's the name, Mikey. And this adult, Mikey, was standing right next to, very close to Charlie Kirk, videotaping everything. And at the moment of this incident, it's described as sauntered off or walked off very casually, did not seem concerned, didn't have a typical emergency response, such as what happened? There's shock and there's confusion, and it takes a moment, and your adrenaline is flowing, and you start you're flustered, and all of that didn't happen at all. So just to set the stage for this next part of the broadcast, which is Charlie Kirk's turning point, people now that are doing the podcast are defending Mikey's response. Now, it's just a short video. Well, it's a few minutes long. I am going to play it for you. I am going to interrupt it. And if you want to watch the whole thing uninterrupted, you can do a search online like I did for it, and it's on the Turning Point channel. So let's go over there. And before I do that, let me make sure that I've got my other video pause. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to cue this up for you. Also, I am filming live. So when I do this live, often the audio and the video don't sync up, and I understand that. So there might be a little bit of a delay. I will also put up subtitles here so that you can read along if you are unable to hear it. All right. So having said those caveats, these fellows now, and the title of the video is Debunking Viral Video Attacking Charlie's Chief of Staff, Mikey McCoy.
First, we got to do a little addressing of a video that went viral this weekend. And it's a video of Charlie's Chief of Staff. We made the decision that we wanted to address this head on because, candidly, there's so much intrigue, and I'm gonna do a generous thing. The intrigue is because people care about Charlie. Okay, so that part I understand.
You're more generous than I am.
Yes, and that's fine. And I am going.
This fellow, Andrew Colvey, is the producer of the podcast. So that's why he's here. I don't really know these other two people, but do keep your eyes out for some gestures. I'm going to point one out a little bit later, which is quite telling.
Going to give you the floor here now, Blake, because you were there and you actually interacted with Mikey.
I'm also going to point out they've got the 47 hats, which is, Donald Trump 47, but 47 also has a very significant role in Freemasonry. I will do another video for you on that. Also, notice the globe up here. Notice the brick wall. Now, people have told me, Peggy, that brick is actually fake brick, and it's there for soundproofing in the podcast studio. All right, fine. I'm just pointing out all the clues that I collect, because that's what I do, is I'm the clue collector. And of course, there's a globe, which is also significant in Freemasonry, or for people who just believe the lies about our Earth and the truth of our Earth. So I think that these are very significant items as well. All right, let's listen in.
You were with Mikey. You left the scene and then connected with Mikey. So explain what the video is.
All right. I'm not going to
set the scene.
Well, I'm not going to wallow in it at length, but people have it's gone viral and people have asked us to address it. And we're going to do so briefly.
I have to interrupt again. Think about their tone, and they already seem flustered, like they're trying to make something up. This to me looks already, their body language, their tone, the nervousness already seems to me like they are trying to create a cover story. Take a look at this fellow's gestures. It might be a little later in the video.
The video, without going way into it, is by, I can't even remember the guy's name. Someone made a video that is attacking Mikey, Charlie's friend, Charlie's chief of staff, a guy all of us know, a guy who we've seen on the show here the last few weeks. They are attacking him, claiming, based on a few seconds of clips, that he allegedly has like a nonchalant or calm reaction to Charlie's murder. And I'm just going to be blunt about this. This is a extremely disgusting attack. And I can speak to that because I was there when it happened and I was next to Mikey when it happened. And what I can say is, I can't say every single thing that happened, but I want to talk about.
Oh, why can't you say every single thing that happened? Where's your cell phone footage?
About this specific narrow thing, that the shooting occurs. I am next to Mikey. Both of us hear a loud crack. We both turn, we both see Charlie, who has been shot. Both of us, I think at about the same time, realize that that means there is a shooter who is on the scene. And you just hear the crack, so you don't know, did it come from far away? Did it come from close? Is there a mass shooter unfolding right now? So I and him both had the reaction of, let's get out of here before we were both shot. That is not us abandoning Charlie. Charlie had a security team. They all leapt immediately into action and they got Charlie out of there, which was what their job was to do. My job was not to get in the way and screw this up because...
What? Oh, did everybody hear that? His job was not to get in the way and screw everything up. I guess that was the role he was playing. So their role, the security team's role, was to not act like it was authentic and to respond in ways that were not normal. And his role was to not get in the way and screw things up. He just said that. Let's listen again.
Immediately into action. And they got Charlie out of there, which was what their job was to do. My job was not to get in the way and screw this up because I had to be a hero.
So it's so strange to me. I need to listen to that again. So their job was to immediately get Charlie out of there. That is not, as I say, and I'm going to say it again and again, so people, if you're just hopping on, that's not what happens in an emergency situation. You actually assess, you see if you need to stop the bleeding. They would drop their weapons to fend off any further attack. You would actually take cover. So for him to say, this guy Blake and Mikey, to just walk off kind of nonchalantly, it's not like they ran off, it's not like they took cover, it's not like they were fearing for their lives. They're like, okay, our part is done.
That is not us abandoning Charlie. Charlie had a security team. They all leapt immediately into action and they got Charlie out of there, which was what their job was to do.
That's still so strange.
My job was not to get in the way and screw this up because I had to be a hero.
To screw it up? What exactly were you going to screw up? That's so bizarre.
That was not my job. I remember even running past, both of us going past the SUV that we came in on and me thinking, should I get in that car? And then thinking, no, that's a really stupid thing to do.
Okay, why would it be a stupid thing to do? I think getting in a car to take cover is probably a smart thing to do.
And then I kept going. So I was not with Mikey, or I don't remember being with him. I think I was ahead of him as we left. And then we get out and I run for, can't have been more than 15 or 20 seconds. And then I realized there hasn't been another shot. So the shooter has likely been detained or stopped or something, not in immediate danger. I pause, I look around me and I see Mikey there. And I will never forget what I saw because I've seen Mikey almost every day for the past 2 years. I know his personality very well. He's a very bubbly guy. He's a very happy guy almost all of the time. And I'll never forget what I saw because...
Well, I'll give him a pass on this gesture here.
it was clear in the moment that he was profoundly freaked out. What I'll always remember is the way his lip was quivering, which I'd never seen before. And you very rarely see from someone that he was freaking out. And then I think he literally said to me, I might be imagining this, but I think what he literally said was, he was looking around, and then he says, I need to call Erica. And then he takes his phone and he begins calling Erica. And I don't want to disclose how that call unfolded, but he did that. Your mind extends all of this, but that is happening within a minute of all of this occurring. I remember he calls Erica. Around the same time, I pull out my phone and I call my mom just to say, Mom, there's been a shooting. You're going to see it on the news. I'm okay. Pray for me. I've got to go. And I remember that call.
I have to stop again, because if they left, how do they even know what happened? How do they even know if they left? None of this makes sense to me. If they fled the scene, how do they know actually what happened to Charlie? And he said after 15 seconds, he didn't hear another shot, so he thought it was all fine. I personally would still be concerned.
And around the time I put that phone away, and then he immediately calls his dad. He calls Rob McCoy.
How does Blake know this? How does Blake know that Mikey is calling his dad?
And he says, Dad, someone shot Charlie. You need to call all of your pastor friends. Charlie was hit. We need everyone to pray right now. And that's what he told him. And
how does Blake know that's what he told them? Is he saying what Mikey told him? He didn't make that clear. And how does Mikey know what happened if he left that scene?
I guess it's very disgusting for me as someone who witnessed this, who saw Mikey hugely distressed and then step up in the moment, because after that call was over, I saw Mikey get total mastery of himself, that he realized he had to step up in this situation. And from that point, he was like a general directing a battle, where he was, grabbing people and saying, okay, we need to get to the hospital and we need to do these things. And you guys need to wait here. I need to get in.
Oh, okay. See the thumb, you guys? That's what I wanted to show you. If you're new to my videos, I hope you'll go back and watch my Freemasonry videos and my other videos on the Charlie Kirk playlist. This is a very strange gesture of the bent thumb. And it is used by a lot of people in Charlie's camp. Charlie did it a lot. And Benny Johnson does it. That guy, Patrick Bet David, does it. I've been showing this to you again and again. Elon Musk does it, ironically. That guy with the funny mustache in Germany, and a lot of the neo-Nazi groups. And I'm not giving any opinion on Nazis, you guys. Every time I mention Germany or World War II, you send me all these emails as if I don't really know what went on. The point is, this thumb gesture is very intentional because it's not normal. Try to do it. Erica Kirk did it in her video. So I have never seen anyone else point this out but me. And here he is doing it. In fact, I'm going to take a screen grab right now so I can add that to my list of all of I'll have to do a whole video just on the thumb compilations. So I don't know what he's signaling. I don't know if this is something like a hex or a jinx or a little statement like, don't believe what I'm saying. If I do this motion, maybe people who recognize it know that he's in the club, but that is intentional and it's bizarre.
Here to get information.
And he holds it there.
Get it to Erica.
And he was holding that position for a long time. It's not like I just caught it off guard there.
And we need to do these things. And you guys need to wait here. I need to get in here to get information so that I can get it to Erica. And when we learned he was dead, he came out and he told us. And then he says,
when he learned he was dead. So at the event, who pronounced him dead? How did they know that? See, there are so many things that just don't add up here.
And he says, now, none of you can say anything that you've heard, because Erica's not going to hear about this from anyone except me.
Can I ask a question? I've just been thrown into this 10 minutes ago, but there's a suggestion online that Mikey, Charlie's chief of staff, one of the most sincere people you ever meet, brilliant, Christian, kind, everyone he ever met in his entire life, couldn't hurt a fly, was part of a conspiracy to murder Charlie. That's what's going on.
Okay. You know what, friends, the part that I wanted to show you, that was what I wanted to show you. The rest of this video goes into pretty much trying to give the idea that there actually was a murder and a killing, even though there was never a medical report, there was never an authentic autopsy that we've heard of, which is required in the case of an assumed murder. There was never any burial. There was never any body that was shown that we could see. Not that you have to have a body. I know that people are cremated and so forth, but there are so many unanswered questions about this. What I want to show you that I think is really interesting are the comments that people had at the end of this video, because as you can see, it's almost like they're just digging themselves a hole deeper and deeper. So let's take a look. So this is one that says, Charlie's instructions are actually insane. Leave me with no help or first aid. Film your reaction in selfie mode. Take all the SD cards just in case. Cover the scene in case anybody wants to get justice for me. And again, I'm not buying this whole, proposal that he actually died in the manner that they're saying. Who knows what happened in that SUV? Who knows what happened to the hospital? Who knows if he went underground? We don't know any of that. All of those things are just conjecture. But I thought this was pretty funny in a way that, yeah, we didn't see. Where's all the selfie footage? Out of the 3,000 people that were there, we can't get a clear video. Actually, there is one that I will try to find again, and I appreciate everybody sending me this info. But yeah, they just covered over the scene. There was never any security there. So here's another one. Do you guys really think that people are asking questions about Charlie Kirk's assassination for the sake of making content? Perhaps some are, but it's so dishonest to act like there isn't anything fishy going on with the FBI's narrative. That's why people think you are all shady. This episode isn't helping. Let me know if you feel the same way. It's like they're trying to explain it, and it's even getting worse and worse, because why not have Mikey come on and say, hey, this is why I sauntered away. This is why I wasn't concerned. Even though I had no blood on my shirt, my dad said that I was soaked in blood, which is what Rob McCoy said. And then the response here, it definitely doesn't help them when they are lying about what happened that day. And people watch the videos and they know what they all saw. I'm amazed that they allowed these comments to stand on this site. It's almost like they want to be found out. Classic, believe everything you're told and nothing you see rhetoric going on here. And I think I have one more. The comment section gives me faith in humanity, meaning people are responding saying none of this adds up. TP USA should have just kept quiet on this one. I saw the video. So now y'all are gaslighting all of us. Oh my gosh, friends, it's one huge gaslighting anyway. Let's see. I want to hear from you, friends, and see what you are saying here. Let's take a look at the comments section. I do have another video coming up for you. So just wanted to bring you a little of this coverage here. And we've got, okay, this is really great. Season of the Watchers says, no one recalls details second by second as he is. This is over explaining, and that is not how it works. I think that is really huge. Swamp Lover says scripted nonsense. Stray Angel says Mikey messed up pure and simple, which is why they won't let him out. He's grounded. Yeah, isn't that interesting? Joe says these hacks couldn't get a part as an extra in a B movie. Earthship Bear says it's a badly scripted nonsense. And General Jones, nobody knows squat. Andrain says, sure, phone records we won't see. Mikey, the one who went to film a selfie? And Denise says, yes, over-explaining is a sure sign of guilt. Swamp Lover sees that dang bent thumb again. What is up with these people? Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, and then Rita, I agree with her. She took note of this phrase when Blake said, you should have seen the mastery of himself that Mikey displayed. Yeah, that is weird. That sounded really new agey Scientology to me. So I just think this is mighty smart mom. Hey, she tried it. She said, such an awkward gesture with the thumb. I tried it several times. Andrea says, Frank Turek accidentally said mission accomplished on his first live stream. Yeah, that is really, I did a deep dive on that. Tanya says they are so bad at lying. Kathy says the acting is getting worse. Vivek says, has Jack I don't know how to pronounce his name, done any of these gestures. Haven't really watched him too much, but now you'll know what to look for. Joe says this sound, oh, I can't use that H word on YouTube. They flag you automatically. But yes, it's kind of like the blunders for dummies. Tanya says the video of him going into the SUV is a plain white shirt, no blood, no freedom. Yes, there's no blood. Okay, let's see. The truth will be revealed when Jesus returns. Well, amen to that. Tanya says, why did they lie so much and do such a terrible job at this psyop? Well, you know what? It's because so many people believe it. That's the sad fact. It's astounding. And it's because fear and emotions will cloud rational thinking. That's why, we're several weeks out of this. And I think more and more people are kind of seeing my videos and they're like, thank you, Peggy. You're the only one that's really exposing this, because a lot of the, pro-Trump and MAGA and Maha, they are all falling for it hook, line, and sinker. And it's sad to me that critical thinking gets set aside when it's people's, pet choices, so to speak. Or, for example, when I exposed the Vatican, I had a lot of Catholics that got angry at me instead of getting mad at the Vatican. When I exposed the, horrible policies of Netanyahu, then people turned on me instead of turning on Netanyahu, and on it goes. When I talked about the tariffs, and then people turned on me instead of on Trump. So it just goes on and on and on. And you know what? That's okay. I did a video for you a couple of days ago called Why I Do What I Do. And I brought you back in time a little bit. And I talked about how I started this channel and why I am persevering with it. And it is all about critical thinking. I call it reading between the lies and making sure that these bad guys don't gaslight us and hoodwink us, which is ironically what they do in one of the initiation rituals in Freemasonry, which basically is based on witchcraft. So I don't know what these individuals are involved in. It's probably their own secret society. They probably have their own gestures. Valerie said we probably have made these gestures innocently. I've never done the bent thumb one, but it's true that there are people using these gestures just innocently. It's the intention behind it. It's the pattern behind it. It's the frequency. It's the awkwardness. It's the signaling a message that we're looking at. And that's why we are collecting the clues and then evaluating them, discarding them if they don't have any value, but then keeping them in order to create evidence, which then creates proof. But I'll have to remind everybody, I don't have to prove anything. You don't have to prove anything. I don't have to know what happened. I never am going to know exactly what happened, although I do like a good puzzle and try to figure it out. But I do know what didn't happen in terms of the evidence not matching up with reality and the story. And I always look at the witnesses, and that's a huge giveaway because they're chuckling. They've got the duper's delight. They're acting inappropriately. Not even the witnesses, but the friends. You don't see the deep etching of grief and sorrow and loss. Those things change you. They change your eyes. You cannot hide that when you have had a deep loss and you're grieving. Yet Erica is just like glowing. She just looks like she got the best news in the world. Maybe she did. And we can see these things again and again. All right, that's my Charlie Kirk coverage for you today. I do have a couple more videos for you. I love to kind of end out the week as we're winding down with a little more lighthearted coverage. And so I want to talk to you about why I'm in Florida. And also I'll have another video for you about the new laws that took effect in 2025. So stay tuned with me. I got a couple of videos coming for you right up. And of course, you can always find me over at peggyhall.substack.com. And that's a free newsletter that you can get on. You don't have to pay for anything. You can subscribe. And there are those that have become paid subscribers, and you are invited to join me this Saturday. We do it the first Saturday of every month. It's 4 p.m. Pacific, and we have a live stream, a private live Q&A webinar. And you can ask me questions in real time. You can chat with others. And this is in an uncensored, secure, private manner. It is recorded for you so you can watch it again, and you have access to all of the previous recordings as well. I probably am going to, excuse me, I probably am going to be making some changes to this in the new year. So stay tuned for that. And I'm so grateful for all of you that have supported me. Just to give you a little sneak peek, the Substack subscription platform is very wonky and many people are frustrated with it. I would prefer, if you wanted to support me, to just send me a little check in the mail. That's the best way to do it. I have a snail mail address for you in the description of this video. It's also on my website. And that way I will add you to the free Substack. I will add you to our private webinar. Well, I'll add you to the paid Substack so you can comment and have access to all the archives. And then I'll add you to the webinars as well. So anyone that has sent in a donation, you are invited. If you've done so, and I reply to everybody, and I'll send you all of the login information via mail if you have written to me, but you can also give me your email address if you send me something in the mail, then I can add you automatically. So that to me would be my preferred way. So we don't have to deal with Substack and Stripe and credit cards. I want to get off all those systems. So I would be happy to have you join us as a supporter, and then I can support you. But if we can do it all offline, that's even better for me. All right. Having said that, thank you everybody for being on board. Stick with me. I've got a couple of videos coming for you right up. And a big shout out to the moderators as well. See you soon, everybody.